illustrate pure abstraction. We can still connect it to modernism in the 20th century, this refining of the subject to a self-sufficiency, arriving at this autonomy, the aura of the painting. And of course, it is so erratic with this sort of golden glow down the surface. And what I love about this painting, of course, is that idea of repetition, but also variation within the painting. And so you have that constant shift within each block in the painting, and all of that sort of tiny detail whereby there are kind of slight nicks.
Absolutely.
In the gold leaf.
And I think when you see these paintings reproduced in catalogues, they look very mechanical. They're small, you can't see the detail, and when you come up in front of them, there's the artist's hand, there's the time, the months in them, and the mistakes and errors and wobbles, and they're all there, and that's, I think, very, very engaging. I think just a note on the title, Friendship. I mean, it's quite interesting, and I think it's always, you know, it's problematic sometimes to talk about an artist's life, their biography, but she was a very solitary human. So I think actually calling this Friendship is quite interesting. She lived alone, she worked alone, she didn't take newspapers, she didn't watch the TV, so it really is almost a religious practice that she's engaged in.
And I think there is a metaphor in that title. That kind of arduous process of building foundations, of a progression in time, in real lived time, as if each block does represent to some extent achievement in terms of you know, social relationships, and building something very concrete and solid. At the same time.
And it's interesting the language we're using. We're talking about building and concrete. We're talking about it almost in terms of sculpture. It is a painting. I think it's a painting. Would this class as a painting?
Well, it has such a strong relief.
Yes, exactly. And it's kind of double framed. She's left some of that canvas visible around the edge, and then there's a white frame. So it's very contained. It's very in your face. It's a solid piece of work. This painting is called Untitled Number 8. There are many untitled paintings in Martin's work. This is made in 1974 and is part of a series of paintings where the grids have disappeared and it's horizontal lines. It's graphite and acrylic on canvas, and it's stained. I mean, the canvas feels stained. Those beautiful kind of orange and blue stripes. The colour kind of emanates from the canvas. It's as if she's not painting it on, she's kind of thinking it on. And I think they're often talked about as being quiet and delicate and elegant. And I'm slightly nervous of those descriptions because they feel quite sort of feminine. And she always said, I'm not a female artist, I'm an artist. I didn't want to be categorised. So I think not titling them, not talking about her personal work, making these works which are perhaps perceived as quiet. I don't think they are quiet, I think they're very powerful.
You get that luminescence of the colour. I mean, it's quite restrained when you first see it, but it begins to almost sort of pulse on the surface of the canvas. You have, again, order, structure, repetition, but of course, at the heart of these paintings is that handmade, explicitly handmade quality. She used a ruler and masking tape,